Tonight, we're talking some Shaka news in Texas basketball.
We'll discuss the baseball struggles to find victories and even touch on some Texas football.
Stay with us. It's College Press Box.
I said, no, Arthur, I'm not going back to Richmond. Once I get down to Austin, it's time to go to work.
And if they trying to doubt the South, that's fine. We riding dirty at the same time, shine. For all the dope boys pushing on the grind.
Thanks for joining us on our special live show of College Press Box tonight. Stick with us. We're going to make it a good one. Let's start off with some breaking speculation in Texas basketball. Sources are saying that Isaiah Taylor will forgo his remaining 2 years of college to enter the 2015 NBA draft. Taylor's response is that this is false information and he hasn't declared for anything. Do you see any truth in these rumors, Julien?
Elissa, I can actually see some kind of truth in there. Miles Turner is leaving. You know, there's a new basketball head coach coming in. So he might not like the transition of the coaching style or anything like that. So I think there could be a little bit of truth, but we just got to wait for Isaiah to say something. So
Exactly. There's just so much uncertainty in this Texas basketball team right now.
Right.
After not so shocking news that men's basketball coach Rick Barnes and Texas mutually decided to part ways, the hunt for the new head coach was underway and it only took Texas a week to make a decision. Virginia Commonwealth's Shaka Smart was introduced as head coach on Friday with the statement all Longhorn fans love to hear: there is only one University of Texas. Okay. So, Smart talks in a press conference about his excitement to work as Texas head basketball coach.
I want to say thank you to President Bill Powers and Director of Athletics Steve Patterson for giving me this phenomenal opportunity to come here and be your basketball coach. I'm so excited to work with this group of young men and to build on a phenomenal tradition that's been established here with Texas basketball for over 100 years.
Do you think hiring Smart was a good move for Texas, Julien? And what do you think he will bring to the struggling Texas team?
I think this was actually a good move. We have a young prospective coach. He's 37 years old, has 162 wins in his 6 seasons. So he has the potential. He has a winning record. And also with that, he coached VCU to a very great NCAA run 2 years ago. So, you know, he has that great resume. So what he's going to bring to this Texas team is a little bit more of consistency, I believe. He can basically rally these troops up and actually have some talent to go far into the NCAA tournament. Not only that, start competing with some woes that they had, like the free throw problems that they have, inconsistency to keep the turnovers going. I think he can change that a little bit and bring that a new way going for the Horns this next season.
All right. Well, Smart talks about the expectation to win championships with this Texas team.
I just met with the guys on the team right before I came in here, and I'm excited about rolling up my sleeves and getting to work with you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to like me some of the time, not all the time, but we're going to work together. We're going to work extremely hard, and everything we do is going to be in the name of building this program and winning championships.
Shaka Smart's 163 wins are tied for second most by a head coach in his first 6 seasons of Division I history. You know, that seems like a solid statistic there, but is there really anything we need to worry about with this new leadership?
Alyssa, the only thing I think we really need to worry about with this new leadership is he's coming from a conference with VCU where it's not really that much competition to the Big 12, where the Big 12 you have, Kansas who comes in, you have sometimes maybe even Oklahoma, OK State, you have all these great basketball teams in the Big 12. So that's the only thing that us fans have to really worry about. It's just, is he going to be able to beat those kind of opponents? But I think, as he showed from the past couple of years being in the NCAA tournament, showing how his team can progress without even the smallest of talent that some people have suggested with the VCU team, he actually can do it. I think he actually has the chance to basically go against this team. So we have nothing really to worry about with this new turn of events for, this for Shaka Smart. But we'll just have to see how it goes. It's all talk now. We'll just have to see next season.
Well, Coach Smart actually addresses whether the offense will work in the Big 12 conference.
Obviously, you've made your bread and butter has been Havoc, has been the system you described to us, but there's always been speculation how that system may translate to a power conference. Do you have any doubt about how that might translate to a conference like the Big 12?
It translated pretty well a few years ago in San Antonio.
With the loss of two of their best players, Jonathan Holmes and Miles Turner, what improvements does this Texas team need to make to have a successful season next year?
Well, let's start with Jonathan Holmes. Jonathan Holmes was more of the X factor most of the times when the going gets tough for Texas, and also he was a big rebound guy. Same thing for Miles Turner. When you needed the big man to go in the post and go make you some shots, or you need a big man around the perimeter and start making threes, that's who they were. So what they need to make improvements on is having a big man that could basically also do the dirty work, but also get around the perimeter and make some good shots. And I think he has a few of them out there. Prince Ebay can be a nice one for you. Cameron really a little bit outside the perimeter. But overall, the only thing he needs to really work about is making more big men, actually getting the big man that he has on his team, and actually start getting more rebounds, actually fighting for the ball and things like that. And so getting those boards that Texas really needs to keep the momentum going in themselves. So the only thing that he really needs to improve on is that, and just making sure that there's smart play instead of a lot of turnovers, having 12 turnovers in the first 10 minutes of the game. So that's the only thing that he really has to work on.
All right, well, Smart talks about how he got some encouraging advice from Texas football coach Charlie Strong.
Well, I got a chance to talk to Charlie this week, and, I've always looked fondly upon him. He's just got such a friendly spirit about him. I got a chance to speak with him just about the community here and being a coach here and what that all means. And that was really meaningful to me because I strongly value his opinion. I grew up and was able to learn from and benefit from some terrific role models, from some great mentors, from some people that I could look at and say, hey, maybe I can do what he's doing someday. And I hope that in this role as the men's basketball coach at the University of Texas, I can play that role for someone else in this terrific state. So that's something that I didn't realize, but it's something that I take very seriously.
Texas, along with Georgia State and Stanford, are the only schools with African-American coaches for the football and basketball teams. So what does this mean for the future of UT athletics?
Well, I think as soon as last year, as the fans was watching Charlie Strong become the head coach, being the first African-American head coach for football here at UT, that was a little different. A lot of people were just, getting a little ease on it. And as you can see, he still made some improvements for this past season. And same thing with Shaka Smart, another first African-American black basketball coach for UT. We could see a new transaction, a new direction for UT athletics. Is, we can see a lot of more opportunities, a lot of more diversity around the campus, because, we're UT, that we're one of the most diverse campuses on the nation. So with that, we can basically open that up to new wonders, open up into opportunities for, not just African-American, maybe Hispanic coaches or anything like that. So I think this is a great opportunity. This will show if both of them can do their job, and I think for the long run, they'll do an excellent job.
All right, well, thanks, Julien. When we come back, we'll be talking more sports around the 40 acres. Stay with us. Welcome back to this special live edition of College Press Box. Although it's a great day to be a baseball fan with opening day for the MLB, it may not be the best time for Longhorn baseball fans. Texas baseball unfortunately could not get out of their slump last Tuesday when they lost 6-4 to Texas A&M Corpus Christi, suffering their 4th consecutive loss. 8 pitchers appeared in the game for the Longhorns, including starter Kyle Johnston, who retired the first 8 batters he faced. Texas tied the game in the 9th with freshman Joe Baker's RBI double that scored pinch runner Taylor Stell. Islanders scored 3 runs off of freshman Connor Mays in the 10th, and Texas was unable to answer back, giving the Islanders the win. Amanda Atwell was at the dish to talk to freshman catcher Michael Cantu and Coach Garrido.
The number 18 Texas Longhorns baseball team fell against the Texas A&M Corpus Christi Islanders Tuesday night in Austin. The Islanders started out early with runs in the 3rd, 4th, and 6th innings to put the Horns at a 3-0 deficit early on in the game.
More energy, and we've done it. It's there, and it's just a matter of pulling it together and keep grinding. I mean, it's how you react. So
Texas finally got on the board in the 7th inning with an RBI by Brett Boswell.
I just realized that.
They followed by taking advantage of a pass ball to bring the score to 3-2 Islanders.
It was pretty easy to see the difference between their performance through the first 6 innings versus the last 4 innings.
The Longhorns tied it up in the 9th, but fell in an extra inning, 6-3.
We need to play hard for 9 innings from beginning to end. That's the idea. That's how we've run this program since I've been here. And we've had trouble doing that consistently.
This puts the 19th ranked Longhorns at 17-12 on the season. They're still ranked number 1 in the Big 12. This is Amanda Atwell reporting for College Press Box.
This past weekend, the Horns traveled to Stillwater, Oklahoma to face the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Unfortunately, they took home 3 straight losses. Friday, the Horns stayed in their battle for as long as they could before losing at the bottom of the 18th, I repeat, the 18th inning, 3-6. OK State's Casey Hazel hit a 3-run homer with 2 outs to win the game. This has been Texas' longest game since the NCAA Regional in 2009. 18 pitchers were used in this game, 9 by each team, with Hazel keeping the Texas scoreless with the last 3 innings. And then on Saturday, the Horns kept the Cowboys to only 3 runs for the whole game, but the offense couldn't muster anything more than a run with their second loss going 1-3. A total of 7 hits were distributed between both teams. The biggest difference in the game was a 2-run homer at the bottom of the 4th by Oklahoma State's catcher Brian Case. And then finally, on Sunday, Texas fell to the Cowboys' very driven game, 3-8. Texas looked to take hold of the finale at the bottom of the 3rd inning until Oklahoma State's Dustin Williams hit a ball down the line that brought in 2 runs, which took the score to 3-2. After that, the Cowboys just commanded the whole game, and Texas couldn't even look to score until the top of the 9th with RBI outfielder choice by outfielder Colin Shaw. The baseball team looks to play Wichita State on Tuesday.
This Texas team had so much potential at the beginning of the season with big recruits like Michael Cantu and Kyle Johnston, but now they are suffering from a 7-game losing streak. You know, what happened to this Texas team, and why can't the offense execute?
That's the problem. That's the major question that we all are asking, why this offense can't execute. It's as I've seen from this 7 straight losing skid, it seems like the offense can't muster anything. As you can see, on average, it looks like they only can pull up to 3 or 4 runs a game on average, and that's sad from a Texas team from last season that could almost muster 8 to 9 runs a game. And you had C.J. Hinojosa, you had a lot of big hitters in the game that actually did a lot and actually helped the game out. But also at the same time, it's just, when you're just not hitting enough runs or you're just not getting enough momentum shifting to your way, it's just you get on a losing skid, and unfortunately, they're on a very bad 7-game losing streak right now.
Yeah, and the problem is that this Texas offense, they're getting on base. There's no problem with that. Right. It's just getting the runs in. That's the biggest problem. I completely agree with you there, Julien. what does this Texas team need to do to get the momentum rolling again as they continue to play Big 12 play?
There's so many options at this moment, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But, keep the momentum shifting, I have to say, just keep the pitchers doing what they do best. For the previous 6 games prior to the losing skid against Oklahoma State, they were one of the best pitching cores in Big 12, So they have the takes for the pitching core. It's just, as we just talked about earlier, you got to get the runs in. So with the keep the momentum going is, like we talked about with the football team last semester, keep the defense going and then move that momentum from your defense to your offense. Get those runs in, get the ball moving, start hitting some singles and doubles in the middle of the field and just get your runs going instead of just, I don't know what to say about this baseball team.
I know, they're a big disappointment right now.
Horrible.
Not gonna lie. Well, this Texas softball traveled to Houston on Wednesday to play against the Cougars. Junior Holly Kern recorded her first career grand slam in the 5th inning, making a total of 4 grand slams for Texas this season. Houston tied it up at the bottom of the 6th with a home run. Sophomore left fielder Stephanie Wong made the Texas victory with 2 RBI singles in the 7th inning, and Texas won 13-12. Texas took on Texas State Bobcats Friday and Saturday. Friday night, sophomore shortstop Devin Tunning led the offense charge with her first career 2-run home run game. Freshman Erica Wright tossed her first career 1-hitter, allowing 2 runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Texas came out on top with a 10-2 win. Saturday afternoon, junior Lindsey Stevens recorded her team-leading 12th home run of the season in the bottom of the 7th, and an RBI from sophomore Kelly Hansel tied the game. Freshman pinch runner Elissa Angel was in scoring position at the second base, and a single up the middle gave senior Marley Gabaldon her first career walk-off to secure the 6-5 Texas victory. Texas will strive for their 9th consecutive win on Tuesday when they play Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
This past Saturday, the men's tennis team faced the Red Raiders and took the match 4-1, making head coach Michael Century's 300th career win as a head coach on the 40 acres. Although the Horns lost the first point in the doubles matches, Texas went on and took it in the single matches, almost sweeping the competition until they called the matches after Texas won the first 4. Top-ranked senior Soren Olesen defeated Texas Tech's Felipe Soares 6-1, 6-2. Number 72 Adrian Barfakis defeated Texas Alex 6-3, 6-2. Unranked Nick Nauman and Clement Holmes defeated their opponents 7-6, 6-2, 7-6, 0-6, and 6-1. Texas will face their non-conference matchups this week before having their home finale with Baylor April 15th.
Number 2, Texas men's golf finished 4th place in the Augusta Invitational at Forest Hills Golf Club on Sunday. Freshman Scotty Scheffler had his best finish of the season after carding a 204 and finishing 2nd. Freshman Doug Gim posted his 2nd top 20 finish of the season after shooting a 3rd round 72 to tie for the 20th with sophomore Bo Hostler. As a team, Texas finished 20 under par, 5 strokes behind champion New Mexico. The Longhorns will play this weekend at the Western Intercollegiate at Paso Tiempo Golf Club in California.
Last Friday, Texas track and field traveled to Stanford Invitational and did not disappoint. The distance runners showed out how Stanford Invitational distance competition is one of the biggest running events every year. Senior Craig Lewis moved up to number 2 in Texas history in men's 10K meters with a time of 28 with 33.48 seconds. The women's did not disappoint as well. Senior Megan Sever took a 10K clocked in with 33 minutes, 37.88 seconds, that ranked number 3 in Texas women's history. Katie Rahula also took the record books with a 10K, clocking in at 35 minutes, 22.53 seconds, ranking 9th in school history. The Longhorns will return home this week for the Texas Invitational on April 11th. When we come back, we will take a look at some spring training updates and what is going on this week in Longhorn sports. Stay tuned. Welcome back to College Press Box. Thanks for staying with us. After Friday's spring training, senior linebacker Dalton Santos will have surgery later this week after suffering from an ankle injury in Friday's practice. Santos played 36 career games. 28 of those games were straight before the UCLA game in 2014. Santos had 9 career starts, one of them from last season against Iowa State, and missed a game against Oklahoma State due to head injuries.
All right, so let's talk some Texas football. Texas football has a lot of potential this year, but who do you think will stand out in the quarterback, offensive line, and defensive back positions?
First, if we're going to talk about quarterbacks, let's
talk about quarterbacks.
Well, I was always on my Twitter feed earlier today. I heard through the grapevine, this is just hearing through the grapevine from rumors, Gerard Hurd looks better than Tyrone Swoops. So, with that being said, we might even see Jared Hurd take his first career start in this fall season, which I'm pretty excited about. And then, you know, they say that Tyrone is getting his mechanics moving and things like that. Then also you have freshman Kai Loxley, who's really hasn't been really participating that much. But, you know, as it goes on, he might see some little action from him as well.
All right, well, what about offensive line?
Offensive line, what can I say about the offensive line? I think this offensive line is going to actually be a lot better. With that being said, you know, you have 3 returning offensive line this year. You know, they really wasn't well with the rushing, but, you know, you have Taylor, Doyle coming back, and, you know, you have Perkins coming in also. Then you have a lot of freshmen. You have a lot of size in this incoming freshman class. So, and you can see that this probably is going to have a lot of training, a lot of stuff going on, but I think that they'll heavily keep it going before spring training or even before the season starts. So this will be
well, that's going to be a key factor to these Texas wins, hopefully this season.
Hopefully.
All right, so what about defensive backs?
Defensive backs. Duke is coming back. Dylan's coming back. Like, you have your whole defensive backs almost coming in. So you're racked on your defensive backs. Just keep them training, keep them moving. And also you have almost the same amount of freshmen coming in. So you have depth in defensive backs, the defensive back positions. I think that if we work on the if Texas work on the mechanics, if they work it going on, I think this defensive team might be the one to stop. He might be the one you have to worry about this season. So we'll see.
So what do you think is going to be a key factor in this upcoming Texas team to be more successful than last year?
Work with defense, especially the secondary. As we talked about, defensive backs was the major contributing factor for some of the losses against Texas, and quarterback position. Whoever's going to be who's going to be under the helm, it has to, and I mean has to, keep it under lock and keep it under pressure for the offense and keep the ball running.
All right, well, thanks, Julien. Coming up, we'll discuss Texas rugby and what's coming up this week in Longhorn sports. Thanks for sticking with us for the last segment of the show. Texas Rugby played Notre Dame in the first round of the Varsity Cup and Club Rugby's championship tournament. Let's take a look at the highlights. All right, Texas and Notre Dame met for the second straight year in the first round of the Varsity Cup. Last year, they upset Notre Dame in the first round. So 7 minutes into the game, Will Gall takes a pitch to plow into the end zone for the first score of the game. Longhorns lead 7-0. 15 minutes into the first half, Notre Dame throws in the line out and bulldozes. They just keep pushing until they cross that goal line, determined to get that score. Texas leads 7-5 after Notre Dame misses that extra point. Start of the second half, game tied 10-10. Junior fullback Felix Alazazan takes the pitch and breaks away and just speeds down to run into the end zone, and the extra point is made, and the score is 17-10 Texas. Now 12 minutes into the second half, Eddie Caballero picks up the ball out and hands it to junior wing Matt Young, who speeds down to the end zone. Texas leads 22-10, and Notre Dame will come back to score, but Texas will hold on to that win, 22-17. Texas advances to second round of the Varsity Cup for the second straight year and will host California this Saturday.
Now, after some rugby, we'll take a look at what's going on around the 40 acres. On Tuesday, women's tennis will be visiting Abilene Christian at 4 p.m. Softball versus Texas A&M Corpus Christi at 4:30 p.m. You can catch it on Longhorn Network. Men's tennis versus UTSA at 5 p.m. Then men's baseball will be playing here at versus Wichita State, 7 p.m. You can also catch that on Longhorn Network.
Wednesday, men's tennis will play Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Friday, softball will play Oklahoma, 4:30 p.m. start. It'll be on Longhorn Network. Baseball is also playing Oklahoma at 7 p.m. on Longhorn Network. And
Saturday, softball will be playing Saturday also baseball and softball will be playing Oklahoma again. Volleyball will be playing the FAST tournament Saturday and Sunday. Men's golf will be at the Western Intercollegiate. Sunday, softball and baseball will be again playing at Oklahoma. Playing Oklahoma.
well, with all the puns surrounding the two Texas coaches named Smart and Strong, even Steve Patterson has a laugh and knows he has something special. All right, well, that's all we have for this episode of College Press Box. So feel free to follow us on Twitter at College Press Box. If you like debating sports, you can tune into the hour-long edition of College Crossfire this Wednesday at 9 p.m. For Julien, Owens, Master Control in studio, I'm Elissa Killebrew. Y'all have a great night.